opener for filling it. Thank you. Pardon me, I just had to take a Tylenol. Strictly for preventative medicine. This is the Tibet Center. Kunchap Tarduling is our Dharma name, place pervaded by seekers of liberation, I mean real liberation from death and from samsara itself. This is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma. Quick note, there will be no class Monday night, Labor Day, so take the day off. Our next Dharma class after this will be a week from today on Wednesday, but that's just housekeeping. All the prayers we say are on the Tibet Center website in the FAQ section. Scroll down to prayers. If there's anyone for whom he wishes to pray for, when we do the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels, we pray so they have a positive rebirth. Put their names in the chat box as soon as you can. So we're started a little late, so let's get started now. The first prayer is prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West, for all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them. May all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. To dispel obstacles, we say the Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor the wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear, they transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tayaka Om Gate Gate Par Gate Parastam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound, transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Refuge in Bodhisattva Vow. It's called Generating Bodhicitta on your website there. We said the verses 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So as is customary to bring out our motivation, we recite the mantra of Avalokiteshvara Om Mani Padme Hum to generate compassion, which is our motivation for studying the Buddha Dharma, to remove suffering. So we'll do one round. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. So what's on the menu tonight? The menu tonight, the main course, is practicing the path, the Lamrim Chenmo, commentary by Yangtze Rinpoche. We'll read, and also we're going to have some words from Geshe Sopa about this precious human life, etc. From his very good commentary on Nagarjuna's Suraleka, the letter to a friend. Nagarjuna wrote this letter of advice to a king who was a layperson. Geshe Sopa points out Nagarjuna's advice was tailored to somebody who's very busy. King after this, he doesn't have time to argue extensive philosophy and stuff like that. And we're in a similar situation. Most people who go to work every day have a busy life, etc. So the advice is germane to our situation. But we have to visit with the Himalayan Hermitess, and if we have a problem with that term, you're right. It sexed the person already. She's a hermit. She lives by herself, but not for always. She wanted to be. Some of the advice between her and her teacher is very high level, and it's Dzogchen and Mahamudra advice. I don't know the terms. I don't think the translator knows exactly some of the terms, but it's very thick. Those who are practitioners of either of those would pick it right away. But the fact that she's so honest about the problems of her existence, and she's not everything is roses, in other words, and she's not afraid to say it. She always wanted to not be a working kitchen. First of all, she was a herder, herded goats, herded horses, etc. And then when she went to the monastery, she became working kitchen worker, which is hard work. I mean, anyone, you get up early before everyone else, make a fire, make tea and breakfast for everyone. One of our ex-monks, Tenzin, did that for a while. You get up 3:30 in the morning. It's in Tibet at 15 high level altitude. So she goes to her teacher and finally gets a chance to start. I'll start with this one. Where did I put it? Here it is. Yes. She made some prayers at the great stupas, and she also said, "May I not be born as a woman anymore." Not knowing the future, when intellect would prevail and not might. So the status of women should even out now. It shouldn't be, whatever we're dealing with now is from the past. There's no reason to have the status of women what it is. In fact, they work hard as men now, and they still get less. They rank 60%. Anyway, she makes Samantha Bhadra prayer. This is her wishing prayer. May the sins and this is on page 156 of her biography. The first half of the book is her autobiography. Her biography is the first part of the book written by the professor Curtis Schaefer of the University of Alabama. I guess Tuscaloosa. I don't know. He didn't say Birmingham or Tuscaloosa. One's a good medical school, right? Birmingham, Alabama is a very good medical school. I know that. So, praying at the great stupas. In the presence of both stupas, Svayambhunath and Bodhinath, I prostrated, made circumambulation, and offered prayers of aspiration. I, organ CHOKYI, I would say and make prayers to the gods, the three jewels and the stupas. Then at the close of Samantha Bhadra prayer, whatever prayer I knew, I would pray, may the sins and obscurations of all 6 classes of beings who have ever been my kind mother and father in the unending samsara of rebirth be purified, and may they complete the 2 accumulations of wisdom and merit. May I never be born in a female body in any rebirth. Having attained the male body, may I be able to sustain pure conduct. May I be born as a great bodhisattva possessed of the 10 perfections. May I be able to lead all beings in the 3 bad rebirths to a heavenly realm. May all offerings come to all needy people. May all beings beyond food and wealth be able to give generously great offerings to the 3 jewels. I gave this aspiration prayer at all the holy sites of the Kathmandu Valley. After that, I went to Mount Kailash. At the mountain, the lake, and in front of the Kochar Buddha, I made prayers as before and did prostrations and circumambulations as I was able. In particular, when I beheld the Kochar Buddha, its entire body was surrounded by rainbow light. An unbearable ray of light shined from the center of the Buddha and struck me. She's got realization. It's obvious. I mean, I never see things like this, but I don't go to these places. Anyway, the appearance of this life were obscured, and a joyous, spontaneous awareness came over me. This greatly benefited my meditation. For some 7 years, I had told no one of this. Later, I told my master about what happened when I beheld the Kochar Buddha. That is good, he said, but do not speak of this to anyone. Well, it's too late. She wrote it in the book, and we all heard it. No, I was joking. At this point, she's developing. I'm sure when she reaches the stage where she makes the great leap that they say in the Dzogchen or something, she's no longer wishing to be born in a male body. Probably because she would transcend all these bodies. She would send out what would be needed, which is close to Buddhahood. Religious activities is page 157. In the kitchen again. What? How I stayed in the kitchen and suffered mental anguish in the bustle. She wants to go to solitude. She's having these visions like the light from the Buddha and all that. She wants to enhance them. She doesn't want to be with the group, in the crowd. There were many religious activities in Dolpo, the building of the temple at Dechinpalri, the construction of the temple at Sandu, we don't know where these places are, and the making of paintings of deities at Drikung, and the 12 volumes of scriptures such as the Lotus Sutra at Kok. There are artisans creating many religious supports for the enlightened body, speech, and mind of the Buddha here, as well as many people requesting teaching. In this bustle, my body and mind suffered. It is good and virtuous work, I thought, but my mind suffered of its own accord. Beyond that, in the kitchen of mistaken conventional reality, it's really slick getting this thing in. With no leisure day or night, I was saddled with the work of food and drink. Such sadness did my mind experience that it would take too many words to tell, so I will not write more of it. In particular, at Drikun, my mind was sad, and I sang this lament. Outside, kings and petty princes. Inside, taxes and the cost of living. In between, lowlanders coming to collect debts. Thinking of these, my mind is naturally sad. I beseech and pray that I may wander the mountains alone. Outside, endless streams of visitors. Inside, preparing and serving food and drink. In between, bent over in the kitchen, thinking of these, my mind is naturally sad. May I quickly be alone and meet with meditation. Outside, many people dying. Inside, my own death uncertain. In between, much suffering from disease and illness. Thinking of these, my mind is sad, so sad. I pray for solitude and spiritual practice. Outside, much worldly work. Inside, no time to practice the holy Dharma. In between, food and wealth torment the mind. Thinking of these, my mind is naturally sad. I must quickly go to Sikkim. She wants to go there. Others are leaving. She can't go. She gets very upset.
What time period was this again?
Probably this is the 17th. She's crossed into the 1700s now, I think. She died at 54. It was 1729. So a beam hit her on the head. It's a very story about her death. It's very interesting. But and she said, "I'm going to have an early death." It's pretty in those days, though. Living in the 50s was pretty good. Tsongkhapa died at 58 or something, 63, something like that. He didn't live to his 80s like the Buddha did. Some more poems from this era. The master was in retreat. She couldn't go. A friend dies. Then my religious brothers, this is page 160. Then my religious brothers and sisters who had traveled to Sikkim returned, and they related much news to me. One brother who thought about things a lot like me had died on the journey. When he had first left on the journey, he had taken my hand and wept. "Ogen Chokyi, you must go traveling quickly," I remembered him saying. This made my heart miserable, and I wept a great deal. I remember that I had made a promise to follow him. Due to confidence in him, I was diligent. The sadness I felt was immeasurable. Sadness came naturally to me my already sad mind, and thoughts came to me with no rhyme or reason. When is my time of dying? Will my religious brothers and sisters remember me? I wandered about in a depressed state of mind. From when my friend was a child, he never quarreled with his family or his religious companions. I thought he died, and may I also quickly die. So I recited the prayers like that of Samantabhadra. I cast offerings and performed what rituals I knew for him. So she wanted to get out. She went to the master. He said no, but finally she does get out. I'm tempted to maybe I will. I don't know. This introduction to mind. You heard a little bit. You asked a question Monday night about. So we'll go back. Stillness and movement in the mind. So they go back and forth a little. Here it is. Moments of mind and conceptual movement of mind and conceptual thought. Remember that? Okay, so we'll do this. It's a little technical, but don't just let it roll. The mind's movement and conceptual thought would arise together and move hither and thither. I would look at whether or not these were mine. So I went to ask the master, "Are movement and conceptual thought identical or separate?" He asked. Go see if they are two different things. Then I looked at both movement and conceptual thought And then movement appeared clearly. When movement appeared clearly, and a conceptual thought also appeared clearly, I went to ask the master about this. He said, you have intuited movement and conceptual thought, he said. Now, it is said that one should first look at where mind arises, then where mind stays, and finally where mind goes. This is interesting. We think the mind's always there or something. He's saying it, arises, stays, and goes. He means, I guess, states of mind. I don't know.
Or moments of mind.
Moments of mind. But it's always moving. That's I guess the point they're trying to drive home is everything's kinetic. Things are always in motion. Whereas we frame things in still, a still shot. You're a camera person. So maybe that's it. So if movement and conceptual thought are both mind, look at which one they are, arising, staying, or going. Ooh. So I looked. Go ahead, Mark, you have a question?
I have an idea, which is, if you see movement, it means there's something to move.
Something to move?
Yeah, there is something that
job?
is moving.
Everything is moving, yeah, I would think.
So isn't it the reification, which is our mistake?
Because movement is done in reference to a point, right? If you drop all of that, what do you have? You have stillness and motion. I don't know. Let's see what they say. Because that's the dependency of the term movement. Well, time's a construct. Based on a constant. That's 5 o'clock, that's 6 o'clock. So you have intuitive movement and conceptual thought. He said, now it's said that one should first look at where the mind arises, where the mind stays, and finally where the mind goes. So, the master is speaking, if movement and conceptual thought are both mind, look at which one they are, rising, staying, or going. So I looked where my mind arises, stays, and goes. I could not understand where mind resided and to where it departed. Movement and conceptual thought were the same thing in my body. Now I thought movement and conceptual thought were identical. So I went to the master to ask the master about this. He said, you do not know from where mind comes and where it goes? Question, you don't know? Well, your consciousness came from the lower cavities of your mother and father. It drops. Now it stays in your body, and when you die, consciousness departs from your body. So some go to heaven, some go to a lowly rebirth. Go now and look well. Is this arising? Is this staying? Is this going? Or is it not? He throws it right back at her. Not friendly. I just brought you tea and everything. You treat me like... At this point I wondered, is this a Dharma college or a place for meditation? I like that, a snotty remark. In answer, the master said, it's a paradox. One's own arising, residing, and departing, it is a conundrum. I considered this, then I held up my mind and looked at it. Movement and conceptual thought increased. Yet even though I analyzed the extent of mind's arising, abiding, and abating, I did not understand their divisions very well. I went to ask about this. So now the master, this is women, so it's not nice, but we'll think, the more you look at something, you're sitting there, I have more thoughts than ever. And I told that to children. I was trying to watch my mind, it gets worse. No, that's going on all the time. You didn't realize. And then he brings out the analogy of, you stand on the corner talking to someone, a lot of cars go by. But if you stop there and start counting, the New York City medical, so many cars. So, something like that. So the master gets nasty. Your women's mind does not understand great philosophy, the master said. You are like an old woman who needs a lesson on how to get started. She comes back to us and says, I'm not an old woman, I thought. I have no burning desire. So he speaks falsely. She's not afraid to counter him. It's probably at a higher level than him already, but this is drama playing out. The color and shape of mind. You change your mind for fall, for spring, different colors. 3 days later, my master said, go and look at what the color, form, and shape of mind are like. I looked at what the color, shape, and form were like. Conceptual thought increased. I was nervous and jumpy, and I had a lot of doubt. There was no form at all to mind. There was nothing to fix upon as a shape. There was not even any color, no white, red, or anything. I went to ask the master about this. Back and forth she goes. Maybe she should have texted. Would have been a lot easier. Ha ha ha, he laughed a great deal. Your conceptual thought has increased. That is indeed the color and shape of mind. Hold up your mind and look. Then I looked without diversion at mine. From within a clear emptiness, a distinct conceptual thought arose. I considered what color and shape were like, and I looked at minor movement and conceptual thought disappeared. I looked, minor movement and conceptual thought disappeared. I went to ask the master about this. He sat without saying anything for a moment and then said, to settle the affair, you must search for mind, and at that point you need powerful methods. So he speaks to one of his other students, Ani Drupchenmo, another female student, Ani, a nun. Drupchenmo, something great. Great. Chenmo. Teach the sevenfold Dharma of Vairochana to organ Chokyi, he said. Now they're giving her the instruction on the sevenfold posture. I memorized the seven vital bodily points of Vairochana and have kept them hidden, Annie Drupcho said to me. Now I will teach them to you. They are legs crossed, spine straight, neck slightly bent, hands resting, the Zen posture, something. Shoulders extended out and relaxed. Eyes focus on the tip of the nose. Nikki has to wear long distance glasses for that. Tongue touching the roof of the mouth to prevent saliva. So this thing, most important thing in these postures is that first thing in it, who's the guy that does? One of those men, it takes an hour just to go to body scan himself. One of the old-time mindfulness teachers. You should always look for spots where you're doing this. The shoulders, the face, the eye sockets. Do a little like you're scanning down from the top or the bottom, whatever way you like. And even one woman says, relax the scalp. What's her name? This is one of the nuns from California. All these things. Do that quickly if you can, and you realize there's a lot of places where you're tensing, because life today makes you tense. Oh, there's a car. Oh. All that has to be washed out to make chi flow better, prana, whatever, and that helps you. So she teaches her that. These are the seven dharmas of Vairochana, she said. Your body does not move, you do not speak, and your respiration is leisurely and self-composed. Big deal. Don't run it, don't go, that's something else. Let it roll on its own, let it settle on its own. Mind does not sever impressions from the past, nor does it look to the future. Present mind is unfabricated, without planning, absorbed in relaxation. Sounds very Mahamudra style, completely relaxed, spacious, Mahamudra lounge. The idea of big space. Look unmovingly at the moving mind without asking questions. Look unmoving at the moving mind without asking questions. What do you make of that?
Before, that's the first time I've heard paradox being identified directly in a Buddhist text.
Conundrum, paradox.
Yeah, and I've always wondered
Zen literature does that a lot.
Yeah.
When someone asking dying and someone, I would say, birth and death are a big thing, and he'd leave it at that. Hey.
Look unmoving at the moving mind.
Look unmoving at the moving mind without asking questions. This is Annie Drupchenmo, her colleague.
Unmovingly.
It should be look unmovingly, yeah, but I don't know. He's translating Tibetan. Maybe he thinks that's the way they talk.
You're saying be still and look at your mind?
Yeah, I think
Does
so.
it say look unmoving?
Look unmoving at the moving mind without asking questions.
Maybe that means shamatha.
What looks like, yeah, it is shamatha, yeah. But to get to this point, they combine them both, by the way. It's very tricky,
I meant to ask
Tantra
what
does that.
Rinpoche mean by this?
Method and wisdom sometimes. This is conjoining with
Horse and
consciousness and yes, we'll do that sometimes. Consciousness and energy always together, like horse and rider. So the rider's smart, but can't run fast. The horse doesn't know where to go, but can really run fast. But the horse is direct is similarly. Or as Chungla would say, similar like that. As we said the other night, sometimes consciousness usually go here. There's sometimes you generate certain specific energies that carry specific minds. That's all. So that's dangerous.
Hmm.
And then I went to meditate with these vital bodily points. I looked unmoving at movement and conceptual thought. I saw that the mind's movement was guided by all my previous activities. This makes sense now. What makes thoughts come into your head? Your past actions, your past motivations especially, your past intentions. That's where they come from. You had a lot of thoughts of, I want to kill this guy, kill that, and I'm a big warrior. Maybe these things are coming up now in this life. Who knows? But I take that to mean that. But what do you take it to be? You know, unclear. Conceptual thoughts became clear, and then disappeared, which is true. I looked unmoving, but I was unable to stop my movement by myself. I went to ask about this. You do not need to cease conceptual thought, the master said. Wrap it up and let it go.
What's conceptual thought?
I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Subject-object, duality operating.
Got it. Got
I'm
it.
sick of this kind of turkey. I don't like the other turkey. Why don't they have this when I want it? All the little dun-dun-dun-dun-dun from everywhere. And sometimes it doesn't follow logically. Something's over here. Then you're thinking of this and that.
Well,
So-
also, I think of it like, and take any of the five senses and then imagine any of them.
Yeah.
So we can have a visual sense of seeing something and imagining it, a sense of hearing something and imagining it, and all
Right.
of them, yeah.
Right. It's like,
Remember what was said to you sometimes? Be careful with that. 'cause
it's like
it triggers-
everything but reality, essentially.
Well, you're watching a big parade.
Yeah.
Reality, that's a big name, word.
Everything other than reality.
So reality is what you see with direct perception?
Yeah.
I see.
So everything other
Sense
than,
perception,
well, no. All right.
well, it's corrupt and
I
perception.
get it. I get
The
it.
senses
No, I'm
themselves.
curious.
Everything other
this
than
is a big deal.
everything other than something happening in front of you.
Oh, all right, memory and stuff.
That you see with direct sensory perception?
Yeah.
Or hear, or,
Yeah. Because otherwise, you're making it up. You're replaying it in your
Yeah, so,
mind.
but I
right?
wouldn't tag it with reality because according to Buddhism, what we
Right.
see
That's true. That's true. I
is
understand. You
corrupt.
can't help. Yeah.
But
Everything.
a
You're
lot of
projecting
Buddhist
on
schools say,
everything.
you know, what we see with the eye is very pure, but then the brain screws it up. No.
Hmm.
Because Sangha says by our conditioning,
hmm,
the sense intake is also wrong.
hmm.
So our
We can
eyes,
go on about that a lot.
because our eyes and brain are closely connected, or is he saying that our eyes don't see what's happening in front of us?
We assume an inherent existence.
Right, because
If
our
we
eyes and
stop-
brain are doing something together simultaneously.
Yeah, our past knowledge of, yes,
Yeah.
our background is
It's not saying that our eyes are not seeing the table. He's
They're
saying
seeing
that
the table,
our eyes and our brains
but
come
then
up.
that's right, it's
projection.
interpreted wrong maybe.
Right.
Conditioned by karma and afflictions.
Yes, I would think.
And everybody sees everything differently
Brain
because
is
they
here,
all
by
have
the way, in
different karmic
Buddhism.
conditions.
Say again?
Everyone sees everything differently because they all have different karmic
Right,
conditions.
some people will like that color, some people won't, just on a mild example. Some people will look at something that,
Yeah, we all have our own like concoctions of what
we
everything
see a
is.
cute cat, a fox sees meal.
Right.
But then
Those,
we
what are those
have-
animals that come from the tree you said, what is it? Forgot, mountain lions or something? Cougars. Cougars.
Mm.
They're not middle-aged women hunting down young guys, no. These are real cougars that came, you gotta worry about.
We have shared perceptions because of karma also.
Right. Amen. So the brain in Buddhism.
What's an example of that?
I mean,
The
here,
fact
and I
that we-
both see Tony here.
Right.
yeah, but
Okay.
also we
I got it.
share perceptions. We all think Buddhism is good because of background that we had when you came here for
Right,
some
right,
reason.
right.
Most cars on the highway aren't coming here. They're not. No, they're not.
Mm.
No good. Make less. So, and also the brain. It's here in Buddhism.
The mind.
The mind is here. So brain does a lot of the work, but it's a processing center. Mind, because here is where consciousness and energy come from. The energies are here, the seat of
Right.
the life-bearing window. So they bring it down to here for that purpose.
Brain and mind are two different things.
Brain and mind are two different things, and there can be consciousness without the brain. as in people who leave their body and go somewhere, they're learning stuff and then they come back to it.
So is consciousness and mind are
Uh,
equal?
Yeah, I would think so, in the word, yeah.
Got it.
Well, consciousness, brain you can have without a physical brain. Knowledge, and when you leave this life, you
Yeah.
go to the bardo, you're doing things there, and you're observing, so obviously the brain isn't the whole show, which is the big argument between Alan Wallace and the scientific community. The consciousness is just an emergent factor of the biological brain, and that's it.
That's what Alan Wallace says?
He says no. He's
Oh,
saying
yeah.
that's the that's old science, that's not modern science,
Yeah, that doesn't seem
etc.
right. Yeah.
And he goes on about it. So he's very bright. He speaks very well. He's a wonderful human being.
And wouldn't Buddhism say that the brain is caused by the mind?
Brain is that's right. Having a human rebirth, you get a human brain. How did you get the human rebirth? Good karma, wishing prayers, especially human rebirth, that you found the Dharma center. May I always find the Dharma in the future lives and all that. May I lead others to the Dharma and blah, blah, blah. Those mean things, it's depending on the truthfulness you put in the prayer. She's always making wishing prayers, all these teachers. So anyway, unclear conceptual thoughts became clear and then disappeared. I looked unmoving, but I was not able to stop my movement by myself. I went to ask about this. And he said, you don't need to cease conceptual thought, just wrap it up, watch it play out. That's it. I remember one Korean, Reverend Park, I think his name was, he came and he said, don't try to be non-conceptual. Just do the technique. Don't try to, it was a Zen teacher. I like that. He spoke through a translator. So he had the goods. So I was mindful and looked, she continues, I was mindful and looked unwaveringly at mine, and a naked emptiness in which there was neither movement nor conceptual thought arose. I don't think she sees ultimate reality. I think a naked emptiness is something, she's using the term like we use it, nothing there. I don't know though. I may be totally wrong.
What was the phrase again?
So I was mindful and looked unwaveringly at mind, and a naked emptiness in which there was neither movement nor conceptual thought arose. Sometimes people in the Zen centers would say, no thought, and they would panic. Then sometimes they would go black out and come back. Who knows? But they didn't break samsara's wall. So obviously they didn't understand the direct realization of emptiness. So, but there's some other things that happened. Then one guy called it the mind slide. They suddenly went out of business and there was no thought. He was frightened. Then with unwavering mindfulness, I looked at the mind and saw sometimes conceptual thought increase, sometimes an experience would instantly dawn that was empty feeling. In that state, I looked at those two things called stillness and movement. What time do we have? This is getting a little technical, so yes, 20. So we'll have to leave it at that, page 151. But we'll continue with this theme next Wednesday night, I think. A little bit of Geshe Sopa's. By the way, this book has like the best 3 pages, emptiness, another good one. But in the future we'll do that.
The best 3 pages
on emptiness, Geshe Sopa style. He writes so well with Beth Newman.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he is. And this guy is his student, so. Letter to a friend. So the first verse of Geshe Sopa's commentary starts this way. First I'll give you a little prep from him. As a human, you have intelligence. You can think about many things, the past and the future, what you experience, what you fear or worry about, what you want, how to use your body, speech, and mind to get that. In general, from time without beginning up until now, you have used your intelligence to work for pleasure and samsara. We're being dressed down. You have used up hundreds and thousands of lives. It looks like forever. But now you have come in contact with spiritual teachings. In short, you have a fortunate life. Fortunate does not mean that you have a lot of money, prestige, or power. Yeah, I got that. I figured that out.
You already knew that.
It means that your life can be utilized for long-term future benefit. What you do in this lifetime affects your next life. Through practicing the Dharma, you can block a lower rebirth. Then during one higher rebirth after another, you can engage in spiritual practice. It's a marathon, guys. No. Through that, you can attain freedom for yourself. And if you went to the Mahayana path, you can attain enlightenment for the benefit of other sentient beings. Remember, freedom means you're out of samsara. It's not full enlightenment. You don't have the capability of a Buddha, but if you're really going into this thing because you can't stand to see beings suffer, you want to be the person that could really take suffering, you have to be a Buddha. So that's the motivation. What happens to you, whether you will go upward or downward after your death, depends only upon you. According to Buddhism, there is no one outside you that has permanent and total control over you. Your mindset and actions determine your future. Thus, when you have all the necessary internal and external conditions for religious practice, you have a great opportunity right here, the Tibet Center. The human life only lasts a short time. If you don't use it or use it in the wrong way, there's no question that the result after death will be an unpleasant rebirth. You can stop that from happening by developing your positive potential. A spiritual teaching is a method of training your mind. The purpose of a Dharma teaching is to transform your impure mind into a pure one, to make your imperfect mind become perfect, and develop your inferior mind into a superior mind. Workable. If you follow the instructions from the beginning, you will proceed to the intermediate level and then to the highest level. This training can be difficult, but if you understand its value, you can joyfully accept any hardships you encounter. So understand its value. That's the idea of meditating in the human life. We have in our hands a control panel here for the endless future. It's not like there's a thing out there that we have to find our way. No, we create it. Co-creative.
Do you remember the story of Geshe-la's escape from Tibet?
No, it's in his book. I know, The Dream or something. This Geshe Sopa. Yeah, I don't remember, and I have the book. I haven't read it in a long time.
It just struck me that saying that there's no one who has permanent power over you.
Right.
From people who often were very completely imprisoned.
Oppressed.
Yeah.
Very good. Good point. Yes. And they believed it.
Yeah.
And they had the courage to.
So interesting. I wonder, I have a question. Sometimes I think that, I think it can be a little bit of like an American conception, but like setting goals of doing good. Like, I'm going to set this goal that in the future I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to accomplish it. I think that's really applauded. But I think also, and maybe something that I've gotten from the Buddhist perspective, is that like everything that you do informs the next step that you kind of step into. And so I sometimes feel like those two things are in opposition at times. It's like, I'm going to set this goal and I'm going to get to the goal no matter what. Maybe it's a charitable goal. I'm going to try and raise this amount of money no matter what. But to get to that place, I might sometimes almost like not read the room, or kind of like just think of the goal as the end point, rather than actually each of my decisions, rather than setting a goal, each of my decisions informs one another and the next thing that will come to me anyway. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Like on
Shanti David does.
On goal,
You know what he said
that's a thought that came to mind when you were just saying that.
Yeah, Shanti David has that. Before I do anything, what do? You scope it out. Can I do it or not? And if you decide you can't, just don't do it. It's better not to start. That's one thing. This is different, though. The spiritual path is something, we don't do something, we're going to go, so we have to at least maintain. But you scope things out, and is it necessary? Yes, it's necessary. So what goal do we want to set now? Raising money for some place? If you can, if you can't, you have to do what a business person does. Is there a demographic out there that can contribute? And how do they speak, and how can I get to them? And how could I sell this?
Right, and I suppose maybe
that's the analysis part.
Right. Maybe what I'm thinking of is the alternative in the way that you just read that spoke to me is like, or is it that you don't set goals and instead you live your life in a way that actually informs things to happen that are good? You know what I mean?
You would, I think, yeah.
Or is it?
Your goal is it depends. Your own freedom from samsara, only you know that.
Yeah,
Or is it enlightenment for all sentient beings? You can't stand to see people suffer.
yeah,
That pulls you automatically.
yeah,
That's the motivation of bodhicitta.
right,
And it has an energy component.
right,
It has courage coming along with it.
yeah,
It's a willingness to take hardship and not get discouraged.
right,
With all spiritual path is going to be very discouraging.
yeah,
I think whatever goal you settle on, there's a strong analysis of its causes. And then even so, if you want to achieve bodhicitta, for example, you look at what the causes would be, and then
what do you mean by the causes? Sometimes I get confused by that. What do you mean by the causes? The
So
causes of wanting to become?
so if bodhicitta were to come into being, then we would, so, and we said, okay, I want to have the realization of bodhicitta, then you would say, okay, what are the causes which bring that to fruition?
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And there are two methods and blah, blah, blah. It's all over.
Mm.
You do this, that happens. You do this, that happens. So that should give you confidence. It's not happening, what did I do that didn't contribute to the effect? Am I not applying the right causes?
Mm.
You would do that. You shouldn't think of it as something that's very hard to do and I admire, but how could I do that? They did this, that, and the other, and they became people who have uncontrived bodhicitta, right? You know, like they know they have to breathe. They don't have to work at it.
Yeah, maybe
There's
that's,
causes
yeah.
for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have to, but don't let your mind, the old mind, make you cower from the job or so, make you afraid. He's telling you right here, we have the seed of Buddha in us. Buddha would, you know, he isn't saying it here, but he's
Yeah.
assuming that. So,
Maybe sometimes I feel an inclination toward, even sometimes when maybe I have an inclination to set a goal, even if it's a charitable one, sometimes it can be rooted in ego, and so then it falls flat.
we can't help that.
But then the difference of like, should I set this lofty charitable goal and it might have some kind of stain of ego on it, or on the other hand, like actually living my life step by step in a way that is compassionate and generous and all the things, might actually be time better spent rather than setting a goal that I think will fall flat because it's kind of rooted in ego rather than
Don't worry
in
about
compassion.
that. Until you have an uncontrived emptiness realization, you're going to have a tinge of ego in it.
Mm.
Don't let it set you. But with a good, clear analysis and advice from people who crossed the border already into,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they'll, you know, follow their advice. So the tinge of ego at the beginning is, I know what to do. Well, maybe you don't.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe not. You're not saying this. This is your own mind talking to yourself.
yeah,
You're not making a statement that you're going to regret later
yeah.
at the bar, you know.
They're north of the border.
North of the border, right. South of the border. All borders are exploded. The borders are only an imprint we put on things. They're not really there.
Hey.
Yay! That's it.
Bada bing.
Tell Trump that. We don't need your lousy border. Hey. Oh, we have 10 minutes. We'll do a little more of this. We're never going to get. Well, this is the same section as the Lamrim we're talking about now. Precious human rebirth. So it's a different, in a different key, right? Different orchestration, but the same theme. The text called Letter to a Friend by the great scholar Nagarjuna contains the advice you need to train your mind. The friend for whom Nagarjuna composed this text was a South Indian king of the Stavahana dynasty during the 2nd century of the Common Era. So I guess 2000, what? Year 200, yeah, something like that. Because this king was a lay person, the advice of the short text is slightly different than that found in many other religious works. A king is the leader of a country. He is active in society and governance. If he acts well with good motivation, he can benefit many people. If he acts selfishly and cruelly, he can do great harm. Therefore, Nagarjuna shows the king how to incorporate the practice of Dharma into his responsibilities in the world. Thus, in this text, the encouraged mode of practice is often directed to someone living and working in society. In that regard, these instructions apply equally to contemporary lay people who are involved with many people and activities. However, this advice is applicable to all practitioners, lay people, and those who have renounced lay life and taken ordination. No matter who you are, if you put the instruction for this short text into practice, you can use your whole life in a wholesome way. So the first 3 verses of Letter to a Friend, Nagarjuna tells you why you need to take time to study this text. So we'll do the first verse. 1. It is right for someone naturally suited to virtue to study this short text that I have composed. These special verses will lead you to aspire to the virtues which arise from the teachings of the Sugata. Sugata is Buddha, one thus gone to bliss rather, Sugata. Oh, what's bliss? Tathagata is thus gone to bliss is Sugata. Yeah. Something like. Anyway, it's the Buddha. In case you want to, he has a lot of different roles he plays. Nagarjuna begins by addressing the recipient of his letter as someone naturally suited to virtue. The king, and by extension all of us, is given this appellation because we have the opportunity and ability to practice the Dharma. Every word means something with these guys. It's amazing. As a result of prior actions, we have a human life. We have the intelligence to listen to religious teachings and put them into practice. It is quite wonderful when, in addition to this ability to practice, there is a special karmic seed that ripens as an opportunity to meet a spiritual teacher and the teachings. This doesn't always happen. Sometimes people have created good karma in the past that leads to a high rebirth, but it is just an ordinary worldly rebirth. For example, a king is at a high level of society and has wealth and temporal power. However, when that kind of rebirth is finished, there is the possibility to be reborn poor or even into a lower realm. But in this case, in addition to the superior worldly status, the king has the opportunity and the ability to practice the Dharma. If the king had not created a particular type of good karma in the past, he wouldn't have this opportunity. So what kind of karma is necessary to obtain this kind of good life? You must be habituated to merit or virtue, and things like patience, generosity, and good conduct. So now we look into our minds to see how we can manipulate those ideas, those forces, and make them our own. And that's it. The nature of these virtues is that they are causes for becoming a suitable vessel for listening to the Holy Dharma. The roots of virtue accumulated earlier are the cause for your current good situation. We'll do a little more because we have like 7 minutes. So is that all right with you? You feel like talking?
Keep it up.
Keep it up. Okay.
up, yeah.
Yes, sir. Nagarjuna assures us that this is a short text with succinct verses. Oh, good, because I don't feel good. Succinct is the word. All these things are succinct.
Terse.
Terse, another one. A terse verse.
Terse verse.
Yeah, we're all becoming rapids here without knowing. This is important because ancient kings and contemporary Dharma students are very busy people. Yes, when I was an ancient king, I had so much to work.
Show me the money.
Sure, exactly. Gold. None of this paper.
Show me the money.
And shake your money, never mind. The very kings have many obligations, including the rule of their king. You have many responsibility too. Jobs, families, community, and so on. He absorbed American life totally, this guy. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And now he's back.
Wisconsin, right?
In Wisconsin now. They brought him back in the little ceremony there.
Really?
And I think
He was born in Toronto, I think.
Yeah.
How old is he?
8 or 9, right?
I think so,
He died in 14.
Yeah.
So it was a while. Usually I find them when they're 4 or 5, but he probably plays hockey already if he was born in Toronto. Neither the king nor most people today have much leisure time to study extensively, so Nagarjuna offers us a brief text to show us the method to attain positive spiritual goals. And I wouldn't doubt it. Nagarjuna is very powerful. So any few verses of his you get does have an impact, even though you may not understand it totally. But with this good commentary, mwah! There are 2 kinds of spiritual gold. One is temporary, one is final. The final spiritual goal has 2 parts, nirvana and enlightenment, in other words, liberation and full Buddhahood. Nirvana you could describe in a number of ways. One's own permanent cessation of ignorance, permanent liberation from uncontrolled rebirths caused by the mental affliction, permanent freedom from suffering, and peace. It's pretty good. What else do you need? But he goes on. In addition to these qualities, the even higher goal of enlightenment has the qualities of omniscience, perfect love and compassion, and the intention and ability to help others attain liberation. Attaining nirvana or enlightenment isn't easy. It takes a lot of effort over a long time. Most of us are not able to attain those goals in this life. However, this difficulty of Dharma practice, and it was always the Rinpoche said and other people, no harder than going to work every day. No harder than making a living in this world or something. So Dharma practice has its,
Really?
yeah, really. Really.
Wait, no harder than going to
Going
work?
to work, a hard job every day, trying to keep money, trying to raise a family and all that, that's work. That's hard work. Dharma isn't that bad. It's the same amount, let's say. And you do meet obstacles to both.
Yeah.
A career,
I would think,
dealing with that business that you're in, I don't know, man.
I would think for loftier goals, yeah,
It is loftier here.
then it might be harder.
Why? If you have the right technique, the
What
ego
loftier
thinks
goals?
it's hard because
What
the
do you
ego
mean?
wants what?
Liberation and Buddhahood.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay.
You want sense gratification, etc. Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time. But if you could put sense gratifications of the right niche, it should have. It's not wrong. It's not bad, but it can overwhelm you. You put it in its right box, and you won't have much trouble. So they say. You got to do that anyway to go to a job. You can't be just smoking dope all day and running around and going crazy. You got to work. Either way, you got to devote amount of time. If you're very wealthy and you don't have to do that, most of those people are very depressed. They're never satisfied.
I
You're
feel
saying
like-
the same amount of mind work can be put into either one thing or the other thing. In
And
terms of
we have
work
to do
or,
both.
yeah, yeah, Dharma, I see.
We have to do both.
Sorry
And the
to
king had to do both too.
Yeah.
I feel like I need a Dharma boss to whip me into shape.
No, 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 you're your own boss. You see the boat outside yourself. Yeah, sometimes you do. The force of your crowd, if you hang out with the right crowd, sometimes it's easier.
Yeah.
And they tell you about books, etc.
Hang out the right
At
crowd.
the Tibet Center, if you hang out with the right crowd, where the elite meet, and go on and on. Anyway, most of the other people are dull anyway. Come on. They're boring. You want to go to dinner at Mar-a-Lago? I don't think so.
There you go.
That's not boring in the wrong way.
Yeah. If you have to get so drunk to appreciate these things, to reach the level of gaiety or so, that without, the general term, happiness or whatever, it's not. It's sad. We've been there, that's why we're here. Anyway, we have no choice but to end this little discussion because we only have 2 minutes to do the prayers. So again, before I forget, no class Monday. Monday is Labor Day, there will be no class. Next class will be Wednesday night, September 3rd, right? Labor Day is the 1st, yeah, September 3rd will be our first class of the fall semester. Darren, do you have any names other than the Minnesota school children?
No
Oh,
names.
yeah, school children,
Jane come in with anything?
no, that's it.
How about Lincoln? He was shot, so you shouldn't bring him in. Sutra of the Recollection, Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavad, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavad teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha, the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata, pure the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. And now we do the 8 verses for training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings, and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found the precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as light illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. And now prayer for the swift return of our teacher Rato Chungla Rinpoche.
Exalt
Wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Losang, Tumwang, Dorje Chang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast ways of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guest in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness,
Please come
swiftly,
swiftly
as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Losang Tenpei, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Kamayama, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. As soon as possible. So this ends our session tonight. So there'll be no class next Monday, Labor Day night, evening or whatever. The next class will be the 3rd of September at 7 o'clock from here, the parsonage in South Orange. If you're jonesing for more Dharma, on our website we have a whole bunch of interviews, teachings, etc. done by Mr. Bucchieri himself. Maestro Bucchieri placed all these on our website for your benefits. A treasure.
Darren Smith.
Darren Smith also. Darren on drums, no, on lead guitar. So thank you for your patience. Big love to all of you. Have a good holiday.